forget to subscribe.
Once upon a time, in a small town, there was an old man named Geppetto. He was a kind and gentle carpenter. He made many things out of wood, like toys, tables, and chairs. Geppetto worked carefully all day, carving the wood and painting the puppet. Then we could play together, and I wouldn't feel so lonely. When he was done, the puppet looked just like a boy. Geppetto was very proud of his work. But Geppetto was lonely. He wished he had a little boy to play with. Is this really happening? Can my puppet really be a real boy? He didn't have a family, just a small house filled with his wooden creations. Yes, Pinocchio has the chance to become a real boy, but he must prove he is good-hearted. One day, Geppetto decided to make a puppet. He wanted the puppet to look like a little boy. "You're my real son now," he said, wiping away tears of joy. "We can be a family. We can show you how to get everything you want." Pinocchio remembered what the fairy had told him. He must make good choices. "I don't think this is the right thing to do." The fairy had said that being brave, kind, and honest would help him become a real boy forever. When he told a lie, his nose grew longer. Pinocchio didn't like that. He wanted to be a good boy, so he decided that he would always tell the truth from now on. No more lies for Pinocchio. "Oh, how I wish you were a real boy," Geppetto said, looking at the puppet. Just then, something magical happened. A beautiful fairy appeared in a shining light. She had sparkling wings and a kind smile. The fox smiled at him and said, "Pinocchio, come with us." He knew that going home to Geppetto was the right choice. So he ran back to Geppetto's house. "We know a secret place where you can find gold coins. You'll be rich." He looked up at Geppetto and said, "Hello, Father." Geppetto was so happy. He couldn't believe his eyes. "Where did you go, my boy?" Geppetto asked, worried. He didn't know what was happening at first, but then he remembered the fairy's warning. They were laughing and throwing sticks at it. Pinocchio didn't like that at all. He remembered that the blue fairy said he should be kind, so he ran over to the boys. Whenever he told a lie, his nose would grow. He picked up the little bird gently and returned it to its nest high in a tree. Pinocchio quickly looked into the mirror and saw his long nose. "I met some people who wanted to show me how to get rich, but I decided it was better to come home to you." His wooden puppet was now a real boy. They had never seen anyone stand up for a bird before. "You have proven that you are ready to be a real boy." "You're right, Pinocchio," they said. "We shouldn't be mean." He knew that telling the truth was the most important thing. "We should always be kind, just like the blue fairy told me." He helped others, he was kind, and he always told the truth. He worked hard and made good choices. Finally, the blue fairy returned one day. "I knew you could do it, my son." He was no longer just a wooden puppet, but a real boy full of love, kindness, and truth. "You are the best boy I could ever have." He wanted to be a good boy, so he promised to always be honest from then on. "You have earned it. You can be brave and strong, too, just like Pinocchio. You are now a real boy." The fairy looked at Geppetto and said, "Geppetto, because you are so kind, I will grant your wish. Pinocchio, this wooden puppet, will become a real boy, but only if he is brave, kind, and always tells the truth." "Am I really going to be a real boy now?" he asked excitedly. "I told a lie," he said. "I promise to always tell the truth. We all make mistakes. The important thing is that you learn from them." At school, Pinocchio met some new friends. There was a boy named Carlo who was very friendly, and a girl named Maria who was very smart. They all played together, and Pinocchio felt happy. Geppetto was amazed. The fairy smiled and nodded. Pinocchio's wooden arms and legs began to wiggle. His eyes blinked open. He wanted to explore the world and do many things. Geppetto, however, was worried. He knew that Pinocchio still had much to learn about life, especially about telling the truth and making good choices. The fairy disappeared, and Geppetto hugged Pinocchio tightly. Pinocchio smiled and jumped up. He was so excited to be a real boy. Pinocchio ran outside, full of energy. He met a fox and a cat who looked like they had a plan. The cat added, "Yes, come with us." Pinocchio was tempted. He liked the idea of being rich, but something inside him told him that this might not be the right thing to do. I think I should go home to Geppetto, Pinocchio said, shaking his head. The fox and the cat tried to convince him, but Pinocchio turned away. As he walked home, Pinocchio remembered something else that had happened earlier. When Pinocchio got home, he saw Geppetto waiting for him. "I'm sorry, father," Pinocchio said. Geppetto smiled proudly. "You made a very wise choice, Pinocchio." Just then, something funny happened. Pinocchio's nose started to grow longer. "Oh, no!" Pinocchio understood now. "Don't worry, Pinocchio," Geppetto said. Pinocchio smiled and promised that he would always be truthful. One day, Pinocchio went to school for the first time. He was excited and nervous. He didn't know what to expect. But during recess, Pinocchio saw something strange. Some boys were teasing a little bird that had fallen out of its nest. "Stop! Don't hurt the bird!" Pinocchio shouted. The boys laughed and said, "It's just a silly little bird. It doesn't matter." Pinocchio felt brave. "It matters. Every creature deserves kindness." The boys were surprised. Pinocchio smiled. As time passed, Pinocchio learned more and more about how to be a good boy. "Pinocchio, you have done very well," the blue fairy said, smiling at him. "You are brave, kind, and truthful." Pinocchio's eyes sparkled with joy. "Yes," said the blue fairy. Pinocchio's heart jumped with happiness. He ran to Geppetto, who was waiting for him with open arms. "Geppetto," Pinocchio shouted, "I'm a real boy now." Geppetto hugged him tightly. From that day on, Pinocchio lived happily with Geppetto. Remember, little ones, just like Pinocchio, always tell the truth, be kind to others, and make good choices. Goodbye, friends. See you next time.